Hi parents. If you guys haven't met us yet, my name is Jordan. This is my wife Lainey.
Hey.
Thanks for joining us. We're glad you're here on this 5-day free challenge to help your kids to love eating healthy food. Now, our one big goal for you guys this week is by the end of it, to have your kids come up to you and ask you for something healthy. Now, how we're going to do this is we've put together a bunch of fun and engaging educational resources that have helped a whole bunch of kids already. So we hope you're going to love them. Now, we're going to give you access to these things for a week and see how your family uses them, your kids interact with them, see the benefit of them. And then at the end of the week, we obviously have an offer. If you want to be part of our My Gut Friends Kids Club, where we support your kids through their journey, we're going to open up a limited number of spots at a heavily discounted rate, and you can join us if you like. But more about that later.
We've taken this new direction primarily because of our own family experiences. We have 5 kids, and so we've now parented a child under 9 years old for the last 18 years. And so we've learned a lot along the way. We've had a lot of frustrations. Almost every type of situation at the dinner table you can think of, consequences, threats, you name it. Sometimes we've just thrown our hands up in the air and let the child go and make toast for dinner, whatever it is. And we hear the same thing from you guys. I can imagine you're here because you are overwhelmed, you have tried all the things, and you just really want your child to thrive and eat well. And we hear the same thing from our coaching families. We've been coaching families on dietary changes now for years, and we are hearing the same repeated roadblock, which is the attitude from the kids not wanting to eat the healthy food. So we really do feel your pain. We see you.
Okay, so why not just give in and let them eat what they want? Well, because if we gave them what they want, most often than not, they would more than likely choose the not so nourishing foods or the junky foods. And why wouldn't they choose those foods? Those foods have been lab engineered to be hyper flavoursome and super addictive, processed to the point where they are devoid of most nutritional value. And, if we let them eat those foods ongoing, we know what would happen. Most of us do know. If you're not sure what would happen, let's look at some of the modern science that shows us what happens when ultra-processed food consumption reaches high points. So there's a plethora of studies that discuss the link between the consumption of ultra-processed foods and the increased risk of chronic disease. Just jump on Google Scholar, you'll find a whole bunch of them there. Now, the next few specifically talk about the link between ultra-processed foods and different types of cancers. There's one study that discusses specifically this one here concludes that high ultra-processed food consumption is associated with a significant increase in the risk of certain site-specific cancers, especially in the digestive tract, which is interesting to us specifically. Now, there's a bunch that talk about, is there an optimal diet for prevention of bowel disease? This study concludes even small modifications to align with healthy guidelines may have substantial benefit for the disease prevention, which is awesome. Now, mental health is a big concern. These next few studies talk about the relationship between ultra-processed food consumption and the development of adverse mental health conditions. The main findings of the study point to a robust association between consumption of more ultra-processed foods and reporting a high frequency of 5 mental health symptoms in large representative sample of adolescent students. So if you want to look at these in any more detail, jump on. We'll have a link to them when we deliver this content to you, and you can have a look through all of these studies and read them in more detail. But it's incredible, the association. It's pretty obvious now where we sit in terms of consuming ultra-processed foods and the much higher risk of developing issues mentally and physically through our life.
We get the term ultra-processed food from something called the NOVA classification. The NOVA classification is now used in most modern food research and helps set global food policy. So it's a really great reference point for us to be talking to. And you might be wondering, what the heck is even an ultra-processed food? Well, here are some examples. This is the official NOVA classification table, and it's really helpful because it steps us through the 4 stages of food processing, and it includes some helpful visuals too. I'm going to scroll down to the ultra processed section, but if you want to check out the other 3 sections, we'll give you the link to this table. Now you can see here that it does start with some pretty obvious suggestions or examples of what an ultra-processed food is. Things like biscuits, ice cream, chocolates and lollies, pastries, sausage rolls, sugar-sweetened drinks and energy drinks, sweetened juices, canned or packaged or instant soups and noodles, sauces, desserts, seasonings. But then we get some perhaps more surprising ultra-processed food examples, including flavored yogurt, margarines, pre-prepared meats like salami and ham, burgers, some burgers, hot dogs and sausages, pre-prepared poultry and fish like chicken nuggets and fish sticks, packaged breads that we buy at the supermarket, breakfast cereals. Gosh, most of the breakfast cereals that claim to be healthy are actually an ultra-processed food. Breakfast bars, meal replacement shakes, the list just goes on. And there's a really great definition of ultra-processed foods here. Industrial formulations made from byproducts of high-yield crops or intense animal agriculture. They're designed to be cheap, palatable, and have long shelf lives. Manufacturing techniques include extrusion. Extrusion is the process of puffing grain. So when you think of cornflakes, wheat flakes, rice bubbles, muesli bars that have puffed grain in it, that's the type of thing we're talking about with extrusion. Those foods are an ultra-processed food.
So you may be wondering what percentage of your kid's diet is made up of ultra-processed foods. Now, if you're confident to figure that out, that's awesome. If not, we've actually built a tool that can help you figure that out. So the intent with this tool is to understand clearly where your child is on their gut health journey, so you can figure out the next steps forward to help them progress to where you want them to be. So where do you want your kids to be? Now, if you're anything like us and a lot of the families that we've spoken to, we want our kids in 10, 15, 20 years time from now to have been able to fulfill all of their desires that they have at that time, to have robust mental and physical health so they can have strong and meaningful relationships. They can face the challenges of life without excessive worry or sadness or anxiety. They can fulfill career aspirations or personal achievement pathways. We want them to be sound body and mind to be able to fulfill these things. So ultimately, to do that, we'd love to have them not eating any ultra-processed foods and only eating whole and nourishing foods. Although that's a worthy ideal, it's not the reality that we live in, unfortunately. But having a goal is really important. Setting your sights on where you want to be and then working towards it. Having something measurable and something you can progress towards is really, really important. Now, we've built out what's called the Gut Health Heroes pathway, and that helps you to progress from where you are to ultimately this robust, healthy person.
The Gut Health Heroes pathway is a 5-stage blueprint designed to help you move your child from wherever they are now to becoming a gut health hero. The Gut Health Heroes pathway gives you direction and measurable milestones and forms the foundation for progress within the My Gut Friends Kids Club. Let's take a look.
So here is the Gut Health Heroes pathway. As Lainey mentioned, it is a 5-stage blueprint to identify where your kid sits currently on their journey to robust gut health. Each one of these stages is broken down into 4 key criteria or metrics. The first is diet diversity, second is hesitancy scale, the third is ultra-processed food load, and finally knowledge level. Now, each one of these criteria are quite heavily science-backed, so it's very robust. Now, we're going to give you this, have a look at it, let us know if you want, or just identify for yourself where your child sits. If you're not too familiar or understanding of where they do sit, tomorrow we're going to give you a robust AI-driven identification tool to help you see exactly where your child may sit in this Gut Health Heroes pathway and some next steps on progressing them forward. So this is our mission. Lainey and I, we want all kids everywhere to be eating mostly nourishing foods, experiencing the incredible health benefits of doing so, no longer resisting the healthy meals you make them at home, and even becoming the driving force of healthy eating in the home. Now, this is possible, we've seen it. And the way that we can bring this about is by educating them on the impact of food on their gut friends in a fun and engaging way.
Kids are naturally curious, right? They're always asking, why, why? Well, now they can learn the why behind healthy food really easily and in a really fun way through the My Gut Friends Kids Club, the foundation of which is the My Gut Friends book series. Currently, there are 6 books in development with more on the way, and we're going to give you access to book 1, The Friends You Don't Know You Have. And this is the resource that has already helped turn the tide on healthy eating for so many families already.
So we want you to read this book with your kids tonight and then complete the challenge at the end of the book. That's the homework. Let us know how it goes too. We'd love to hear about it. So tomorrow, we've actually got also a live reading of this book from our youngest daughter, Rose. She's going to jump on and read live to anyone who wants to tune in.
She loves that book.
She does. She loves it. And then the next time we meet, though, we're going to talk a little bit about how to keep the kids engaged long after they finish reading the books. And we'll give you guys a bunch more resources. Then come Friday, we'll get together again. So thanks for joining us. We'll catch you guys later.
Bye.